Let's perform the initial configuration of Realme 14T. So once you turn on your phone for the first time, you need to press this arrow over here at the bottom. Then we can choose the language that we wish to use for the phone, and of course for the setup as well. So you should be able to choose English, and then we can proceed by pressing next. Over here we can also select your region. Unfortunately, it seems that it is not possible to search, so we have to scroll down in order to find your country. So I'm gonna choose United States over here, and let's proceed. Let's go next. After that, you can choose default SIM that you wish to use for first mobile data. Now this of course happens only if you have two SIM cards inserted into the phone. So if you have just one, you probably won't see this screen. So let me just press continue. There we go. Then we can set up our phone by using another device. So if you have your old phone, then you should be able to prepare it, and then you can transfer the data. You can transfer from Android device as well as from the iPhone or iPad. In my case, I'm gonna perform a clean setup, so I'm just gonna skip. Then we can connect to Wi-Fi. If you want to, you can also just skip this process. You don't have to connect to Wi-Fi if you don't want to, by pressing skip over here in the top right corner. You can also refresh the list of networks. You can enable the rear camera in order to scan the Wi-Fi QR code over here and connect without entering the password. And of course, you can also just scroll through the list in order to find your network. So in my case, I'm gonna connect to this one. Of course, we need to enter the password here. And once you enter the password, press save in the top right corner. Once you are connected, we can go press next. Now let's wait for the next screen to pop up. Now you have the option to copy apps and data from your previous device, or if you have your backups on your Google account, then you can also just press next and then choose can't use other device, so that you can use a backup instead from your Google account, as I mentioned. However, once again, I want to perform the clean setup, so I'm just gonna choose don't copy over here. Let's wait for the next screen again. And now we can sign into our Google account, so we can enter the email or phone number over here and then press next. You can also create an account if you don't have your Google account yet. And of course, we can just skip this sign-in page by using this skip button. If you decide to sign in, we need to agree to terms of service, of course. Then we have the option to set up the screen lock password pretty much immediately. So we can choose one of these options. Of course, in order to use fingerprint or face unlock, you will still need to set up the password first. So we still have to choose that option if you want to set up the password, of course. And if you want to not do this right now, you can just press skip in the top right corner. Of course, later in the settings, you can still set up the password, the screen lock password. And then over here, we can confirm that we want to do this later. After that, we have Google services, so we can enable or disable location. We also have the usage and diagnostic data. And then we can press accept in the bottom right corner. Now we have the option to create backup on our Google account. So we can back up photos and videos as well as other device data that is listed over here. And you can turn on the backup. You can choose what you want to back up. If you don't want to back up the phone, then of course we can press don't backup. And there we go. Over here we can continue with the setup in order to go further, or we can just press leave and get reminder in order to receive a notification later on and go back to this setup. So I'm just gonna show you what we can expect later on. So let's press continue. If you choose leave and get reminder, you will just go to the home screen immediately after that. But if you decide to go further, then you should be able to see the Gemini option and the assistant. So let's press continue over here. And then you have the option to enable the voice command, that is hey Google. So if you want to use it, you can press turn on and then follow the instructions. In my case, I'm just gonna disable that. You can also set up Google Pay pretty much right now, immediately as well. So you can press add a card in order to do so. However, we can of course do this later as well, so I'm just gonna skip that. And then we have anything else, so you can add another email account. You can also change the wallpaper here, or you can review additional apps. In my case, I don't want to do any of these things, so I'm just gonna press no thanks. And now let's wait for the next screen. In my case, I can also enable or disable the mobile data, so I'm just gonna turn it on and press next. Then we have recommended services like the automatic update overnight, the wallpaper carousel, which is automatic change of the wallpaper in the lock screen, which I'm gonna keep it on actually. And then we have intelligent search service, the global search, auto updates, system apps, and quick connect, and so much more. Everything is of course described over here, and I'm just gonna press agree over here at the bottom. Then we have the navigation options, so you can choose to use the gestures in order to navigate on your phone, or you can use 3 buttons at the bottom of the screen. So if you decide to use gestures, you can also press learn gestures in order to find out how to use your phone with these gestures. But I'm gonna choose buttons and I'm gonna press done. And then let's press get started. After that, you should be able to see the home screen. So let's see if this happens actually. Right after that, I was welcomed with this screen over here where it says discover and install great apps. So of course I consider this a bloatware, so if you decide to press continue, then you should be able to fill everything in and decide which app should be installed. In my case, I actually do not want to do this, so we can just press later over here in the top right corner. As you can see, here we have the list of all these bloatware apps. So I'm just gonna go back and press later. I don't want to do this right now, and probably never again. And finally, I think we should be in the home screen. There we go. So we are now in the home screen. We still got some bloatware apps, unfortunately, but now we can start using our phone. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next videos. Bye.